Welcome to the Ed Hottle Show for postseason play as the Mustangs selected to play in the ECAC bowl game, and they're going to be playing the Mustangs as Stevenson make the trip up to the Empire State to take on SUNY Morrisville. I'm James Wagner, Assistant AD for Athletic Communications here with Ed Hottle. And Ed, you had to sweat it out a little bit after Saturday, waiting, and then the bowl games were announced. We were the last one announced. We're in the Scotty Whitelaw Bowl for the ECAC, but the Mustangs, along with the Mustangs from SUNY Morrisville, are back in postseason play.
Excited. Sunday was strange. I wasn't in the office.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really anything to do. I couldn't expedite the process. Had to wait till Monday, and but certainly excited. For our guys, excited for the program. Have an opportunity in the postseason. We figured it out yesterday. In talking with the team, the 216 teams turned their gear in yesterday, and we get to go to football practice, on Tuesday. So, certainly exciting.
So let's talk about the Kings game. Obviously, Kings already clinched the MAC title, playing for basically seeding. They're going to host a game this week. Congratulations to the Monarchs. They're going to be hosting Ursinus this week. You always play Kings tough. Remember, you're playing them here tough last year. They've got a great quarterback. You had the lead late, and then Kings scored 2 touchdowns late in the game. Talk a little bit about, obviously, what you could do against a good team like Kings.
Well, I think, and I said this to the guys earlier in the week. I said, it's a play or two here or there. It's a missed tackle. It's a tipped pass. Mm-hmm. It's running the wrong route on third down. It's missing a block, or, the little things. And, when you look at teams like Kings, full of seniors and graduate students, and they're physically mature, they're in years mature. They don't make those mistakes.
Yep.
And as our guys learn and grow, it's a good opportunity to take a look at those things and say, okay, if we can eliminate these things, we can play with anybody, and I believe that to be true.
So obviously Saturday, you had all these scenarios that had to go. Obviously, after the loss, you had to wait to see if you would make the MAC Centennial Bowl. FDU was up, and Eastern came back and won that game. Just talk a little bit about the league. The league just had a lot of parity this year. I mean, you had some games where, like you talk about, 1 or 2 plays could have gone the either way. Just talk about the league in general, how the league was this year.
Well, it is interesting. I think we ended up with 5 teams at 5-4, and everybody kind of beat everybody else. And so the interesting part of that is, some of the teams at the top that were super senior heavy, with the last year of the COVID guys, they're going to have some work to do in the offseason for sure. Mm-hmm. We're kind of in that boat right now where, we've got a lot of these young guys replacing much more experienced guys that left last year. So, we just kind of hit the cycle a little bit at a different time than a Kings or than an FDU. The scary one for me is, you're talking about still not an older team yet in Eastern and making waves and,
yes.
Doing some really, really good things. And, those guys have done a tremendous job and wish them nothing but the best. And, it'd been kind of neat for them to get a bowl game. Unfortunately they didn't, but, I think they were deserving with the way they played down the stretch for sure.
So now going into this bowl game, let's talk about the bowl game itself. Basically, you get another week of practice. You get another week of the guys. As they talked about yesterday on the selection show, the seniors get to sit on the pads one more time. What are some of the things that you can kind of work on this week going into knowing that there's no game next week and you're going to be ready for spring, obviously, in a couple months? What's the benefit of playing in these bowl games?
Well, just like you said, it's another opportunity. If you look at, this being our 10th consecutive year playing in the postseason of some sort, that's an entire season's worth of games.
Yes.
So you look at a guy that comes in as a freshman, he gets 40 games. Well, now all of a sudden he gets 10% more. Mm-hmm. So that's 10% more practice, 10% more film, 10% more opportunity to get better. And as far as program building goes, it's a pretty valuable tool.
Let's talk a little bit about SUNY Morrisville. They're out of the Empire 8. Again, as I said, they are the Mustangs. They play on black turf. You'll notice that today. It's very unique. There was a story about it a couple of years ago. Their surface is black, so don't let your eyes deceive you. It is black, and they've had some good games. They've in the Empire 8, which is a very, very tough league. So, obviously you've seen film on them, I guess, a couple of days. What are the strengths of the SUNY Morrisville Mustangs?
Defensively, they're really, really sound in what they do. They do what they do. They're physical. They're where they're supposed to be. It's a great tackling team. we've got to go out and match the physicality. Offensively, we've got a quarterback that runs around, he runs, he throws, kind of a similar theme to – it feels like forever, that we've played in conference play where, these quarterbacks are running around, guys that can make plays, and they've got a pretty dynamic tight end / receiver guy that's really, really good. The tailback's really good. The O-line's big and physical. Really solid football team, for sure.
And obviously, all MAC came out this week. We had 7 guys on it, headlined by, Dylan Johnson being named the Rookie of the Year. Talk about the 7 guys that got on all conference, and they all seem to contribute this year.
Yeah, the list is, I think it's a solid list. Clarence and Dylan and Dion. I'm trying to run through all the guys.
Alex was on it.
Alex Aviles, Shields, Clarence Travis. Kyle Guerrero, great group of guys. One of the things, and I think the most important thing that we stress when it comes to all conference is, the individual accolades are great. They're fantastic, and it feels good to be recognized by your peers and other coaches, et cetera. But you can't do it without your teammates.
Yes.
And there's a lot of good players on our team that I think would have, were deserving. Just like I think there are a lot of good players on other teams that are certainly deserving. It's great to be recognized, but it's part of what makes football great that it is the ultimate team game.
So obviously, after this one, there's no more games. The season's going to come to an end, and it's going to take a while for you and your staff to kind of, put a bow on this season. What has this season been like? What is your takeaways from this season that you can build now for 25?
Well, I think it's what is today's youth and inexperience and headache turns into tomorrow's really, really good player. And I kept reminding, myself of that, at times, and reminding the staff of that at times, because it can get frustrating when some of those youngsters are out there making mistakes. But, I think as you look back at the year, certainly proud of the work. Results will come. I just think, again, replacing all of the experience that left last year is hard to do in a single season. So, a lot of young guys where we were older, some of our seniors, but they had never played.
Right.
On paper they're seniors, but if you've never played, you've never played. So, and those guys did a great job. I thought that we got better every week. I thought our attention to detail improved every week. And what I think we've got to really look at as we move into the offseason, and we talk about this all the time as coaches, we talk about the mental preparation, the emotional preparation to play games, but I don't know that we've done a really good job helping our guys practice what that is. We practice the X's and O's, we practice the technique, we lift, we get stronger, we do all these things, but what are we doing to help them prepare mentally and emotionally for college football games? And, it kind of dawned on me, I'm talking to these guys about you got to be mentally ready, but we haven't done anything to help them.
Right.
Haven't done anything to coach them up. So,
right.
That's going to be something that we're going to really key on, as we move into the offseason, that mental preparation piece. And, obviously getting these young bodies bigger, faster, stronger so they can withstand, 11, 12 football games in the fall.
All right, Coach, good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, it is the Mustangs versus the Mustangs, SUNY Morrisville, in the Scotty Whitelaw Bowl from the Empire State. Thank you for joining us all season long, and go Stangs.